Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Coffee with Jim podcast. It's Tuesday, December 1st, 2020. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'm excited to be here with you today. We're going to be talking today about the 7 things you can start to do now to make a massive difference in your business and in your life in 2021. The things you can do right now that can start to build a passive income stream for you that allows you to stop trading time for money and become a successful business owner and really call your own shots. This is something that's very important to me, and I'm passionate about this. And listen, what you're going to get today on the podcast is not everything that you're ever going to need to master. It's not every skill, but it's a foundation for you today that's going to allow you to think with a bigger vision and comprehend with a deeper understanding of what it takes to be successful and build your own business, but also what are people doing that are already having success? What have they done that you could duplicate and also duplicate their success? So let's dig into that today in our December 1st Coffee with Jim podcast. So let's dig into it. Jeff Olson, the author of The Slight Edge, says the journey starts with a single step, not thinking about taking a step. And there's a big difference there. I think we've all been guilty of that. And this is the time of year, when we get here into December, the end of the year, where we start misunderstanding the difference between taking action and intending to take action. Taking action and hoping we're going to take action. Taking action and telling somebody that we're going to take action. And to understand the difference, I think that's an important setup for what we're going to talk about today. So first, of the 7 things, again, that you can start to do now to make a massive difference in your business, in your financial future, in the year 2021 and beyond, let's get into these 7 things. Number 1, use your product or service. See, this is about belief and integrity. Now, I know everybody wants to hear about the magic wand and the shortcuts and how to become a millionaire overnight. And the reality is that the most successful home-based businesses, the most rock-solid, predictable passive income comes from a business built on belief and integrity. Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen say, the wind might cause a kite to rise, but what keeps it up there is the fact that somebody on the ground has a steady hand. You have to hold steady to your values, your integrity. It's your anchor. You let go of that, well, it isn't long before your kite comes crashing down. Well, what do they mean when they talk about that? And what does that have to do with using your product or your service? And what does using your product and service have to do with belief and integrity? Well, it comes down to this. And I'll tell you a short story about myself, how I got involved in the profession of direct sales. The way I got involved, now we could spend the whole podcast talking about why I needed to be involved, because I was working a full-time job and a part-time job. I was working 80 hours a week trading time for money and not getting ahead. I had a terrible credit score. I had no money in my pocket. I couldn't afford to eat lunch most days at work. I was choosing between gas money to get to work and other things that needed to get paid for. I needed a home-based business. I needed passive income. I needed to stop trading time for money. But that's not why I got involved and why I've had success. I believe that the reason that this opportunity landed at my feet and I was able to seize it was because I had a white-hot belief in the service that my company offers. And what do I mean by that? Well, 10 years before I ever saw the opportunity, I saw the service. A man came into where I worked, and for those of you who've read my book On Purpose, you know the story. A man came into where I worked. He said, hey, I wanted to show you something. It'll take about 15 minutes. You may or may not be interested. I was on my lunch break. I was happy for the company, quite honestly. And so I said, yeah, sure, come on in. And that, we let the Girl Scouts come in and anybody else, anytime they came by. We weren't tough on folks canvassing the neighborhood as it was. So he said he wanted to come in. I said, yeah, come on in, show me what you got. And when he showed me the service, I remember thinking, listen, if I can afford the price he says at the end of this presentation, I'm going to sign up for this. He set a price I could afford. It made total sense to me. I signed up. Actually, the price was so reasonable for the value that he presented, I was skeptical, quite honestly. But then, not long after that, I used the service for the first time. I was impressed. It actually was better than what he'd even said. And so I told other people about my experiences, and essentially through word of mouth recommendations, created more customers for the company. Now, I wasn't involved in the business, so I didn't earn any money for that. I was just telling some people that I knew about an experience I had with a service that worked. And so 10 years of that going by, and people getting signed up for the service and being happy that I told them about it, and all of that, very passively. It's not like it's what I got up to do every morning. I was living my life. I was working my business. Not my business, but my jobs. I was living my life and working my jobs. And so that's what I was doing every day. And every once in a while, if it came up in conversation, I might mention and recommend this service to people. So when I saw the opportunity, I saw the compensation plan, I saw that I could get started for a very low cost. I saw that the company was willing to train me and develop me. I saw that they were going to let me get started part-time around my already incredibly busy schedule. I mean, it just made perfect sense to me. But the reason that it was so exciting and captivating to me was not because I could make money and build passive income. I mean, that was exciting, but I don't know that I would have seen it as a solution in the same way if I didn't already know that the product was amazing and made sense and helped people, because it helped me. And so what I saw was, wow, this is something I already believe in. This is something that I could feel good about recommending. And so that's why I say when I talk about what is your North Star, well, it's your product. Because if you don't believe enough in your product or service that you would tell people about it anyway, then you shouldn't be involved in the business. Because that's when it comes down to belief and integrity. Integrity is, I would tell you about this even if they won't pay me. And that ends up being really the reason that people rise or fall, succeed or fail, is their belief in the product or service that they're marketing. Now, where do you build that belief? You don't have to spend 10 years being a customer before you start your business, but you better be using the product or service now, developing your own belief. Whatever that product or service is, it better be a situation where you are getting great value from it, that you're getting results from it, that you're proud to be a customer of the company, that you feel the company has integrity, and that the product is valuable and it's worth more than it cost. Because then you've got a product or a service that with integrity you can take to the marketplace. So before you do anything else I'm going to say today, write this down, make it your commitment to use your product or service, use it, understand it. If it's not working the way you thought it was going to, maybe you're brand new and you say, this is not working the way it seems like it's supposed to from the training I've learned or from the recommendations I've heard from other distributors. Ask why. Ask why. The people that succeed have integrity around recommending the product. They would tell you about the product or service even if you don't pay them. And yet those are the people that are paid the most money. You see, it's not the other way around. It's exactly that straightforward, because that's why it's a belief in integrity business. I believe in the product. I would recommend it to you no matter what. But the great news is I got involved in a business where I can earn incredible compensation because of a great product or service that I'm willing to recommend anyway. That's what happens in this home-based business space. That's why you have to filter past the noise and the sizzle and all of the wild promises of huge money. If there's no product, if there's no service, there's no opportunity. That's number one of the 7 things you can start to do right now. So maybe for you, the point is evaluation of the business you're in. Like, maybe don't go any further. Don't try to resolve anything else until you know that this is a product that you believe in, are passionate about, and want to recommend. You're not embarrassed to recommend it. You're not thinking twice about recommending it. You are steadfast in recommending it because it helped you and you know it will help other people. So make that tough evaluation, because you might be in the wrong opportunity. You might be in something that is not the right thing. You might be in something that is not much of a product at all, but is a money game or an opportunity for some people to move quickly and try to make as much money as possible, leaving no value on the table. Well, you're not going to build a legacy that way. See, you're not going to build something that's going to sustain and be around decades from now. You're not going to build a massive ongoing passive income if you're just trying to take a couple bucks off the table as fast as you possibly can. So use your product or service. Connect with the integrity of using your product or service and recommending it with a servant's heart. Number 2, make a list of everyone you know and do not prejudge them. Maya Angelou says, I've learned that you shouldn't go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. When I hear that quote, it makes me think about how we can pay it forward in our business. You know, someone opened the door for you. Somebody showed this to you. And what we often do, what one commonality of people that are struggling is, instead of making a list of everyone we know and not prejudging them and just getting that exercise done to make that list of everybody we know, getting it down on paper and pen. I'm a firm believer of a real piece of paper with a real pen, index card, something where you're writing, not typing, writing, not scrolling, but you're actually in the activity, that touch-based activity of writing something out. The power of that, to make that list, to empty your brain, to go to your social media sites and scroll through your friends list and command that to paper, to go through your phone and see who your contacts are, who are you texting, who are you calling, who's calling you, and get that down on paper. That is your list. And people say, well, I don't want to talk to my friends and family. Well, that comes back to number 1, integrity. We're not saying you have to hard sell, hard close, manipulate, and talk into the business or the opportunity, the people you know. But why wouldn't you share something that you love, that has given you great value? Why wouldn't you share that with the people you know first? In what business would you open a business and not start with the people you know? And yet somehow it's applied as a negative in the world that we live in, of home-based business, direct sales businesses. It's somehow applied to us as if it's a manipulation. Well, no, if you have integrity in your product or service, if you would tell people about it even if they don't pay you, then of course you would make a list of everybody you know and don't prejudge them. Look at making your list as an act of service. If the product or service that you are marketing has given you a result, then you should be willing to share that story, your personal story, about product result, about the services that you offer, products or services, the result of that. You should be willing to share that with people you know, and not make a list of people that you think would buy, not make a list of people you think would be interested, not make a list of people you think would be great for it, because you don't know that. You don't have any control over that. You're not in, whether or not somebody takes advantage of the product or the service that you're offering, whether or not somebody joins you in the business, that's none of your business. That is not your concern. Your concern is to make the list. And if you're looking at ways that you can catapult your 2021, radically change your future, be able to look and say, you know, I drew a line in the sand, and that day was December 1st, 2020. There was COVID, and there was great unrest, and there was unemployment, and there was unsettling situations, and I had struggles, and people were challenged around me. And yet on December 1st, 2020, I drew a line in the sand and I said, today is the day. And imagine looking back on that a year later, 2, 5, or 10 years later, and being able to proclaim that day. Imagine what it would be like to look back at that. Having earned incredible income, freed yourself and people you love from jobs that don't fulfill you, being able to upgrade your home to a safer neighborhood, get more reliable cars, maybe to put your children in schools that you feel would be better suited to them, or give them opportunities beyond school in the arts and other things, to travel. Imagine what it would be like to look back 5 years to this day, today that you're listening to this podcast. And it won't be because of me. It won't be because of Jim Tanner. It won't be because you had a cup of coffee with me. It will be because you decided to take action. So make a list of everyone you know and do not prejudge any of them. Don't filter them for who you think would be interested. Number 3, commit to no less than 1 sacred hour per day for your business, and then honor and protect that time. Listen, we are all busy. You're busy. I'm busy. We're all busy. But lack of direction, not lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. That's a quote from Zig Ziglar. So the question is the change that your business can make for you worth putting in some committed time on a daily basis? Is the long-term effect of a positive, successful business, is the long-term effect of that, is the result of that, to be able to have passive income coming in on a daily basis, is the result worth the commitment of some time? Because here's what a lot of people do, and here's what I did early on. We get excited about the idea of maybe we want to quit our job, or we want to get free from something that's not fulfilling us, and we say, I'm going to go full-time in my business. I'm going to be full-time. This is going to be my business. This is going to be what I do for a living. And then we give it less time, attention, love, and honor than somebody else that only has 30 to 60 minutes a day. And the person with 30 to 60 minutes a day that is focused and committed and driven and honors that hour out-earns, out-succeeds, out-rank advances, out-changes their lives compared to us. And we say to ourselves, well, what are they doing that we're not doing? I have 8 hours. I'm doing this 10 hours a day. But then when we look with honor and transparency and truth at what we're doing, what are we doing? Are we really putting 8 hours into this business? Listen, most people that work for an employer don't give 8 hours of attention to the 8 hours that they're charging their employer for. It's hard to imagine that any of us, when we're new and we're not as disciplined at this business, could give it 8 hours. Here's what most likely is happening. We're scrolling social media. We're doing the laundry. We're picking up, we're making space. We're preparing to work. And what happens is we procrastinate, we push off. Every other thing we do is a good, positive thing that needs to get done. You've got to clean the house. You've got to wash the clothes. You've got to take care of the kids. You've got to buy groceries. You've got to run your errands. I'm not saying we don't do those things, but we don't categorize those things separately from building our business. We don't acknowledge that we're not building our business. If we are to acknowledge that those activities are not income-producing activities, then we're in a better position, because at least we know that we're not getting results because we're not putting in any attention or focus into our business. So, you want to make a massive change in your business, make the commitment right now. Give yourself an hour a day. It would be great if you had 2 or 5. I'm not telling you that you have to limit yourself to an hour. I'm challenging you, though, to give yourself an hour and honor it and protect it. Have an honest conversation with the other people in your home and say, listen, I need to honor an hour a day. Maybe you just can't do it in your home. Maybe, listen, the kids are going to school at home and you've got a spouse who's working from home and you're trying to build this business from home. Maybe that's your challenge. But it's a challenge that people are overcoming all around you. What do you have to do? Make the calls from the car in the driveway? Make the calls from a walk in the park? Make the calls shivering in your backyard? I don't know what you have to do, but I know that the results come from the people that will not be denied and honor the time that they have. Number 4, start inviting people to exposures on a daily basis. Have a goal. I think most people suffer because they have no goal at all. Have a goal of getting at least 2 people every day to actually see the presentation. Now, whether you do the presentation, and this could be the presentation for your product or service, or the way I approach my day, the presentation for the opportunity, because I want to open the door to the opportunity for more people. I want other parents to be able to spend their day with their children the way I get to dictate my day. And I want other parents to be able to live their lives and be totally in control of their time. I want other men and women to no longer have to go to jobs that don't pay them what they're worth or fulfill them. So I'm motivated and driven by the opportunity. And I know that because I believe in my service, that by building a larger organization of people that are actively marketing more of the service, that I reach more people with the service that I believe in, that I know is valuable, that I know will help them, so I can multiply my efforts. I can do so much more with an army of people than I can do by myself. So I'm motivated to build a team. Now, does that give me leverage and more income? It absolutely does, but it also allows me to pour into people what was poured into me. It allows me to pay forward what was done for me. So I commit every day to have at least 2 people see the presentation. Every day, my goal is that 2 people, listen, I would love for it to be more, but every day my goal is that 2 people that woke up that morning having no idea that my company and opportunity even existed as an option in their lives can't go to bed saying the same thing. Whether they join the business or not, they now know that it's an option for their life. That's my goal. And I would challenge you to have a goal like that. 2 presentations a day fits nicely into the most busy schedules. To the people that only have 30 to 60 minutes a day, we can invite people to a presentation. Robert Louis Stevenson said, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant." So whether you do the presentation or you direct that person to a video or a live presentation on the internet, 2 per day. Listen, it's December 1st. If you did this starting today, at the end of the month of December, before we even get to 2021, that would be 60 people at least that have seen a presentation. If you're in a great company with a reputable product or service, it isn't possible. It is not possible that out of 60 people seeing the full presentation, none of them would buy your product or service. None of them would join your team. It's not possible. If you're honoring your company's system and you're using the tools, it's not possible. But so many of us, we want to put onto the prospect, we want to put onto other people the responsibility for our business. Well, I showed it to my friend, but she didn't join. We want to remove the responsibility from our own shoulders, put it on the shoulders of our friend, or our family member, or a coworker. When the responsibility is upon each and every one of us. That's what I realized in my business. The thing that I can control, the only thing that I can control, is how many people I can get to see the presentation. I don't control who will sign up. I don't control who will produce. I don't control who is coachable and not coachable. I don't control who can afford to get started. I don't control who can see in themselves that they're worth the investment to get started. I can't control any of that. But I can control how many people see the presentation. I am totally in control of that. And I do not give that responsibility to any of my prospects. It is my responsibility for my business. 60 people. If you started today with 2 a day as a commitment, 60 people, when you are watching that ball drop on December 31st, when you are saying goodbye to the year 2020, which I know symbolically people want to do, as if somehow magically on January 1st, COVID and all of the challenges will have gone away. The scars of the pandemic will fade somehow because that ball drops. None of that is true. But we like that reset moment. New year, new you. Well, how about new year, new you with 60 people that have seen the presentation? More importantly, 60 people get a shot at a new year and a new you. And you're paying forward what someone did for you. You're opening a door that someone opened for you. I think that's a worthy goal. So start inviting people to exposures daily. Number 5, and I'm almost done here. Commit to a gratitude practice. Get in control of your emotions by being grateful. And you might be saying, you're looking down at your phone, or your radio, or at your computer, and you're saying, there is nothing to be grateful for. It has been a tough year. I challenge you to think otherwise. John F. Kennedy says, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. So be grateful and then live by that gratitude. Starting right now, daily, every day, make a list of how grateful you are for this business that you have, for this company that's in your life. This will help you to be centered around service. Again, like I've been saying, paying it forward. Instead of being centered around how building a team or selling your product benefits you and I'll tell you a quick story. I realized that I was struggling in my business through the help of my wife when she saw that I was not serving my customers. Remember I told you early on today in the podcast how I got excited about getting started in the business because I knew the product worked. Integrity, belief. I was excited because I knew that it provided great value and I wanted to help share that value with people while also changing my financial situation. And yet when I got started in the business, I saw the compensation plan. I became focused on the money instead of the service. And you know what happened? I was frustrated. I wasn't getting where I needed to go. I was stuck. And I was starting to say dangerous things and think dangerous thoughts. I was saying things like, well, this doesn't work. I was ignoring the 100 families that had become millionaires before me, before I got started. I was ignoring the success stories of people who had changed their lives and built massive passive income before I even joined the business. I was ignoring all of that to tell my own narrative that took me off the hook, made me feel better, allowed me to not feel like I was failing. But I was frustrated. And upon examination of myself, as I would often do, I would say, I know this product works. I see people around me are having success. I can't tell myself that it's not possible. I can't tell myself that it doesn't work. And by the way, I'm not afraid to do the work. I was contacting people. I was following up with people. Why was I not having the success that other people were having? And when my wife and I were having this conversation for about the millionth time, we weren't yet married, so she was being very helpful to me and honest and helping hold a mirror up to what I was doing. And she helped me to see that I was pursuing the money. I was pursuing the financial result. I was pursuing this idea. I had set goals around financial success. I wanted to earn $100,000 in a year. I wanted to become one of the distributors in our company that had earned over $1 million in income. And I wanted to do these things right now. And there's nothing wrong with urgency. Urgency and goal setting was not where I had made the mistake. Where I had made the mistake was I had made a terrible mistake around service. See, I wasn't paying it forward. I wasn't reflecting on the gratitude I had that somebody showed me the membership, so I was going to pay that forward. I wasn't reflecting on the gratitude that I had that I discovered the opportunity, so I was going to pay that forward. I was quantifying every prospect in how much money I could make. And it's because I needed the money. But that's not an excuse. And it's not a way to get the results you're searching for. But when I flipped it, when I looked at my gratitude, and when I centered my goals around how many people I could help with our service, how many people I could help by opening the door to becoming a business owner, the money result came. The goals that were financially related were accomplished and continue to be to this day by focusing on paying it forward. And I always tell my team, and I'll remind you, don't let it end with you. Somebody thought enough of you to show this to you. They were probably afraid. They were probably intimidated. They were probably worried you were going to say no or make them feel silly or bad or rejected, and they did it anyway. Shame on you and shame on I if we ever let us be the end of that story. It was done for us, so we should do it for others. If you want to see the doors of the universe open wide for you, start opening doors for other people. Have gratitude. William Arthur Ward says, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Feel gratitude and share your gratitude. Number 6. And this is a little bit more technical for your business, so you'll have to interpret this. Make a goal to be at the top of the compensation plan. Whatever the top of your company's compensation plan is, make a goal to be at the top of your compensation plan, and not a year from now. Not next year, not 12 months or 12 years from now. That's what people like to do because it takes us off the hook. Make a goal to be at the top of the compensation plan now, very soon. Even if, listen to me carefully, even if you're brand new, your business will benefit from an audacious goal. In the play Julius Caesar by Shakespeare, there's a phrase and it goes, "The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings." Now that is Cassius talking to Brutus and explaining to him, see, he wants Brutus, who is friends with Caesar, he wants Brutus to help him, and he's trying to help him to understand that Caesar is not a god. He is a man like all of us. What we often do in our business, what I was guilty of early on, is we see the people that have accomplished the most, the folks, the men and women that are at the top of the compensation plan, and we see where they are now. We see their great clothes and their eloquent ability to speak and communicate, the way they can motivate us and make us feel like we can do anything. We say, but I can't do that. And I say to you, as Cassius said to Brutus, it is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. We are talking ourselves out of the very success we seek and hope for because we put those people on a pedestal. Everyone in your organization that is being profiled as successful started where you are right now. They didn't have anybody buy their product or service, and they had nobody join their team. And yet they have been able to accomplish these great things, not because of their skills, not because of their godlike status, not because of who they are right now, but of what they were willing to do consistently on a daily basis to arrive there. And if you will accept the challenge to join them at the highest ranks and start to get around those people and communicate with them and share your goals, desires, and dreams with them, to believe it inside of yourself, because everything has to exist in two places, inside of us and in the world around us. When you accept that goal as possible, you make the decision to do it, you will realize those are regular people. And they're having incredible success because you have a system of success. You have a great product or service. You have a fair and equitable compensation plan. You have an opportunity that is boundless and allows you to continue to grow your business. It's not over. You're not too late. It isn't for someone else and not for you. They didn't have it easier than you will have it. They are showing you what's possible. Get around the people that have done the thing that you are trying to do. But make sure you set that lofty goal. And number 7, and finally, and really I think 6 and 7 go together incredibly well. Allow yourself, well, let me say it like this. Allow your business to change you. In the home-based business space, in direct sales, the best part about the opportunity is the personal development. The companies that have been around the longest and have had the most success, and the leaders that have had the most success, understand this one guiding principle. You don't build the business. You build the people, and the people build the business. And so in every company that has stood the test of time, is incredible personal development opportunities. So choose to grow. Bob Proctor says change is inevitable. But personal growth is a choice. We've all been through incredible change this year. I hear people say, I can't wait till we go back to normal. There's never going to be back. There's only change. I remember walking through New Orleans not long after Hurricane Katrina and all of the damage and destruction that had happened there. And nobody talked about putting it back the way it was. Nobody talked about getting back to how it was. Everyone, with their determination, talked about building back better. Everyone with their determination talked about a future that was better and bolder. A future that was cleaner and technologically advanced in New Orleans. They weren't saying, I want to go back to the way it was so that this can happen again. And whether that's the pandemic or any other example in your life, we don't go back. We go forward. There's not going to be back. So the change is inevitable. Everything has been changing. Before the pandemic, you were changing. The world around you was changing. Some things have been sped up and some things have been slowed down, but change is change and it's inevitable. But as Bob Proctor says, personal growth is a choice. Personal growth is a choice. We get to choose whether or not we want to be something different. So let go of the pain of who you were or what you haven't accomplished yet and embrace the future version of yourself and invest in that future version. Make a commitment to read 10 pages of personal development every day, to listen to great audios, to surround yourself with the great thinkers. Remember, again, everything exists in two places, within you and then outside of you. Everything you need is within you, but most of us don't access it. Everything we need is within us, but we don't often access it. All the answers, we know them, but we don't often acknowledge them. Maybe some of you already know this. But by the time you're 7 years old, you're basically programmed. If our brains were computers, by 7 years old, we're basically programmed. And we think about how we have free will. But there's an undercurrent, there's a subconscious that pulls against us all the time. We have to acknowledge that we've been programmed for a certain way of life, a certain method of thinking, a certain way of tackling problems, that is programming. That for some of us, we have been operating on for decades of our lives. And we have to, if we're going to exercise change, if we're going to develop, we have to acknowledge that that's happening, be aware that it's happening, and make sure that we make conscious choices for change, to not just fall back into our old ways of thinking, into our old ways of being programmed. Because those choices, the choice to live the programming of our subconscious minds has gotten each of us to exactly where we are. And for most of us listening to this podcast that are looking for change, it's because you're not happy where you are. And for things to change, you have to change. For things to change, I have to change. And remember, Martin Luther King said, everything we see is a shadow cast by that which we do not see. So understand that your subconscious mind is pushing and pulling you. Oprah Winfrey says, we can't become what we need to be by remaining what we are. And Amelia Earhart said, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. I challenge you to be tenacious. I challenge you to be brave. I challenge you not just to sleepwalk through the month of December 2020, like so many others will do, crossing off the days until Christmas and New Year's and pretending that somehow miraculously January 1st will be better, or that you will decide somehow on January 1st that that's the day that you're going to take responsibility and action. If you won't take it today, I can make a prediction on what you'll do 31 days from now. If you won't take it today, I can make a prediction of where you'll be 5 years from now. And I don't say that out of hurt or anger or to cause you pain. I say it out of love, to acknowledge that the only way to make change is to make the decision to make change and to honor that decision in what we do each and every day. It's December 1st, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of 2020 left. We can lay a deep foundation for where we're going to go and who we want to be in the months, years, and decades to come. There is no going back. There is only going forward. There is no the way it used to be. There is only the way it can be. And your vision for a future radically different than your present and your past, that vision can come alive. But it doesn't happen by luck or by chance. It doesn't happen by hope or by dreaming. It happens through action. Take action. Thanks for joining me for a cup of coffee. This has been the Coffee with Jim podcast for December 1st, 2020. Good day.